Joe Ball's story inspired the 1977 horror film Eaten Alive. You Google Joe Ball's name, hundreds of articles pop up. He even has his own Facebook fan page. Yet most people around here have never heard of Joe Ball, the Alligator Man, the butcher of Elemendorf, who supposedly killed more than 20 women and fed them to his blood-hungry pet alligators. Joe's story goes like this. Back in the mid-1930s, after Prohibition, Joe opened a bar, the Sociable Inn, on FM 327 in Elemendorf, about 15 miles south of San Antonio. In the back, he kept a pond full of gators, where he'd feed them live animals to entertain the crowds. And then, women began to disappear. First, longtime girlfriend Minnie Goddard, and then another girlfriend and barmaid at the inn, Hazel Brown. And on September 24th, 1938, when two Texas Rangers went to the bar to question Joe, he put a gun to his chest and pulled the trigger. It's the day Joe Ball's life ended, and the day the legend of Joe Ball began. And today, the Sociable Inn is still there.
I've been here almost 20 years, I guess.
Wow! Marie Walters lives here now, and she's well aware of Joe Ball. She was 10 at the time of the murders.
I just thought it was horrible, at first.
Yeah.
And I have heard about it for years.
From time to time, she gets visitors like us, but this is the first time she's ever let anyone in. Is this an additional part?
Yeah, and this is all still part of it.
She says not much has changed, really. The original wood floors are still here, the kitchen, too.
There was a light fixture there, and there was a bullet hole in that light.
So what about Joe Ball's alligator pond? Well, it's still here, too. So, here it is. I am standing in the infamous pond where supposedly Joe Ball would keep all of his hungry alligators here on the property. 70 years later, you can see it's nothing more now than just a concrete room full of junk. This is the original concrete pond that Joe built. The shed was added way after Joe.
It was open. Now, was there a fence or something around it? We don't know.
Ron Francel is a San Antonio author who has written about Joe Ball. Seeing this concrete pit in person was actually a little underwhelming for both of us.
When you consider the stories that are told and when you consider what might have happened here, you were expecting more.
Could Joe Ball really have kept 5 alligators in this tiny thing and really have fed them human flesh? Well, police records show Joe and a worker of his buried Minnie's body in the sand in Ingleside, Texas, and Hazel Brown's dismembered body was found in a shallow grave near Elemendorf. If there were other Joe Ball victims, there's no evidence of that now. Proof is long gone with the gators and taken with Joe to his grave. So whatever happened to Joe Ball's alligators? Just about every article written about his story says they were donated to the San Antonio Zoo. Well, we checked with the zoo about that, and they say they have no idea if that really happened or not. Delane Matthew, News 4 WOAI.